You're watching Nichols Golf. Like, subscribe, and share this channel with your friends who also want to get better at golf. So in today's video, we're going to be talking all about how to deal with different chipping scenarios. So first, we're going to start with a basic chip shot. So right now, you're seeing me stand as if I'm about to take a full swing with the gap wedge I have in my hand. So you can see how wide my stance is and where my grip is. So to adjust for a chip shot, I'm going to slide my hands down to the bottom of the grip. I'm going to bring my feet closer together, and I'm going to place the ball in the back of my stance close to my back foot, and I'm going to lean the shaft forward so my hands start ahead of the ball. That helps me to create a descending blow in my swing, and I catch the ball first, then the grass, thereby creating enough backspin to have control of the shot as it rolls out. And notice when I take these practice swings, my wrists are staying firm all the way through. You see no flexion in my wrists. Look at how that club head stays with my hands. I have not released it. I have not flipped my hands forward at all. That's really important. When I see somebody struggling to make good contact with chip shots, it's usually because they get their wrists way too involved with their chipping swing. So now here's a look at that same shot from down the line. Once again, I'm going to slide my hands down to the bottom of the grip, bring my feet closer together, place the ball in the back of my stance, and lean the shaft forward. Now watch as I make these swings. Watch how the club head never rotates around to my hands. It stays outside of my hands the whole time. That's a sign of me keeping my wrists firm and not allowing any release in the swing. You'll also notice that as I hit these shots, my weight is starting right in the middle and moving to my front foot as I finish. Here's examples that I'm showing you of what it would look like if you do flip or rotate your hands through a swing. Usually when I see players end up sculling a chip shot over a green, blading the ball, this is typically what they've done. Those wrists should stay firm throughout the swing in a chip shot like this. So now here's a different scenario. Here is a green side hill. So the green is up above my feet, and I'm on a pretty steep slope next to this green. So I'll show you what my typical chip shot stance would look like here, but I'm going to make some adjustments because of where I am. Because my feet are so close together, I actually feel a little bit off balance, a little wobbly. So I'm going to widen my stance a little bit. I'm going to move the ball up, put it right in the middle of my feet. And now instead of forward leaning the shaft, I'm going to have that shaft going straight up and down. Now, one more adjustment I'm going to make is I'm going to match the angle of the slope I'm standing on with the angle of my shoulders. So I'm going to tilt my shoulders back to match that angle. All of those adjustments help me match the arc of my swing to the slope so that I don't end up stubbing the club into the ground. And you notice now I can brush that club right through the grass underneath the ball and make good contact with it to get it to pop up onto that green. So now here's a different scenario. Here I'm just off the green. I've got plenty of green. I've got about 50 feet of green between me and the ball, and I'm only 2 steps off the edge of the green. So what we'll do is we'll try this shot with a few different clubs. I'm starting with my gap wedge, and I'm going to take my standard chipping stance, feet close together, ball towards my back foot, land the ball just a few feet over the edge of the green, and you see how far it rolls out there. Not quite even halfway to the hole. So let's go to a pitching wedge. We're going to try the exact same shot, exact same setup. We're going to try to land it in about the same place, just a few feet over the edge, and it rolls out maybe about 6 to 7 feet farther. So now let's go up to an 8-iron. Exact same setup, exact same swing. Try to land it just a few feet over the edge of the green. Now watch this roll out. This goes maybe another 10 feet farther, gets me to about maybe 6 or 7 feet from the hole. So now let's see what would happen if I did this with a 6-iron. Exact same setup, same swing, just get it over the edge of the green. Now watch this thing roll out. Just past the hole, leaving me about maybe a 3 to 4 foot putt coming back. So that's what it looks like if you use different clubs on this green side shot when you've got a whole lot of green to work with. So keep that in mind when you get this close to a green and you've got 30 to 50 feet to work with. So now let's look at pitching. So this is my chipping setup. So when I go to hit a pitch shot, which is basically just a longer swing than a chip, I'm going to widen my stance, but still keep the ball in the back, towards my back foot, and also I'm going to make sure my shaft is leaning forward still. So now these swings that I'm taking here, you notice that I gradually got longer. I took my hands back to waist high on that one. Now I'm going to take my hands back to ribs high. And on this next one, I'm going to take my hands back to shoulder high. I use those 3 reference points all the time when I teach golf because they are something you can feel. So I'm going to hit a shot now, taking my hands back to ribs or waist high. Now I'm going to take my hands back to ribs high. And now I'm going to take my hands back as high as my shoulders. It's easier to feel your hands going as high as your waist, your ribs, or your shoulders than it is to feel exactly how high the club head is. So that's why I use these reference points, because of how easy it is to feel those. So when you go to a practice session, if you don't know what to do in your knockdown or half swing wedge shots, suppose you hit a full swing pitching wedge 100 yards. If you don't know what exactly to do from inside 100 yards, this is an easy guide to follow to figure out what you can do. Take that same wedge and make these lengths of swings and see how far your shots go. And the key is to always accelerate through the ball from this takeaway point. If you decelerate, you'll make poor contact. But if you're always accelerating, you'll end up hitting better shots. So now that same philosophy can actually work whenever you go through a period where you're not making consistently good contact with your full swings. Back down to one of these takeaway positions and see if that helps you regain better contact. Back down to ribs high. See if you can take 5 balls and hit good shots with solid contact from ribs high and accelerating through. If you do, then lengthen your takeaway to shoulder high. If you can hit 5 solid shots with shoulder high, then you can go back to full swing again and see if that has helped you regain your solid contact. And also, shortening your takeaway can also help you identify what other issues you might be having in your swing. Maybe your head's moving too much. Maybe your weight isn't finishing on your front foot. This can help you figure that out. Special thanks to On Target Driving Range on Indiana State Road 3 just north of Greensburg for giving me an opportunity to film this video there. If you'd like to book a lesson with me, comment down below or reach out to me through email. And of course, like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more tips and tricks on how to get better at golf.